watching. If you like the video, then subscribe our YouTube channel Orient IAS and press the bell icon for more updates.
गुड मॉर्निंग। ओके, क्या वर्ल्ड कप शुरू हो गया क्या? ओके, okay. So yesterday the last topic that we did was essence of ethics. I hope all the points are clear. Any problem from yesterday's class? Which one? They are? After the class you can ask. Okay. So now this next topic is determinants of ethics. Now what do you mean by determinants? Determinants? What drives ethics or what decide ethics? Okay, like what are the factors which are responsible for the set of ethics present in a particular society or of a particular individual? Okay, like we have discussed earlier that ethics are highly contextual in nature. Okay, and they vary from place to place, time to time. Okay, multiple factors are there which impact the determination of ethics, but they can be categorized under three headings. Okay, and these three headings are place, person and time. Okay, basically this categorization is what I have made. But again, as you know that the determination is quite complex in nature because multiple factors affects them. Multiple factors, we have discussed many examples also yesterday. Okay, so just write one introductory line that determination of ethics is a complicated task as a criteria of judging what is right or wrong is neither absolute nor universal, but variable depending on person, place and time. Now tell me how person can impact the determination of ethics. What we discussed yesterday. His morals are decided by what? His environment as well as his genetics. Okay, phenotype and genotype. And every individual is different. Individual differences are there. Okay, the condition of every individual is different. Right. So the first factor is genetic. Like some people are thinkers and some people are feelers by their basic nature. Feelers कौन होते हैं? कॉलेज में होते थे ना कुछ वो इमोशनल फूल्स बोलते थे जिनको, फीलर्स. So usually those people who take decisions on the basis of their feelings, and some other people are thinkers. Okay, they take their decision on the basis of reasoning. Okay, similarly, the economic status of a person can impact his ethics. Can we say this thing? Do we have a proof? At least one assumption can be made that rich people have less reasons to behave unethically, though it's an irony that rich people behave more unethically. Okay, so poverty, usually what we have seen in the countries in which poverty is more, huge economic inequalities are there, unethical behavior is higher. Usual, general, this is what we have seen. Okay, so genetic economic status you can write. Then, can I say that gender can impact? How?
Female are more ethical. Female are more ethical in political terms. Like we say, they should be more in parliament because
अरे ये तो बहुत ओवर जनरलाइजेशन है.
Feminine ethics of care and other.
Yes, this very good point. We are going to discuss them in moral philosophy. Ethics of care versus ethics of justice. This debate is there in moral philosophy. Okay, so yes, social circumstances and the gender role defined by women. Like if women drink alcohol, it will be unethical. But if a male drinks, then there is nothing wrong in it. If women smoke, it is wrong. It is there in our society, right? So such thing happens. So many times gender, ethics change as per the gender of the person. Are you getting my point? So gender can also be a factor in this regard. Okay, the role that a person is playing, role of a mother, role of a father. Ethics can be defined as per his role also, as a bureaucrat, as a police officer. Okay, so multiple factors are there. In genetics, you can write guna theory that we discussed yesterday. Okay, tamas, rajas and sattvic. Okay, like certain people are more intelligent, certain people are highly emotionally intelligent. Okay, so individual differences are there which can determine the set of ethics that they will possess and they will show in their interaction with other people. Okay, so just 2 lines about this person. Every individual has a different genetic structure, which when combines with the environmental conditions produce a different set of ethics. Okay, second factor is place. Certain different set of ethics. That's the last 4 words. Environmental conditions produce a different set of ethics. Okay, now the place. Examples है, देखो सब examples हैं place में. Give me examples. अरे अमेरिका वर्सेस इंडिया नहीं चलेगा, स्पेसिफिक बताओ कुछ. होम yes, it can be. Personal and public ethics can be different for a person. Yes, it can be an example. अरे place societies का difference दो. How societies are different. Democratic countries are there, authoritarian countries are there, the ethics will be different. Okay, I gave you the example of suicide in Japan. Okay, but not the same in India. It is highly unethical in nature. Case of abortion. Abortion कहाँ unethical है? Catholic countries. Okay, highly unethical in nature. You can quote example of Ireland in this regard. Okay, but in India also to some extent ऐसा कोई ethics के ऊपर देखा नहीं जाता है इसको ज़्यादा. Okay, so about Oriental and yes, you can say this thing. Orientalist word का meaning basically East Asian societies होता है. हाँ, so India is an हाँ. हाँ, yes, individualist और collectivist you can say. वो भी एक अच्छा easy example है. Okay.
Diverse society and homogeneous society.
Diverse society, homogeneous society, yes. Okay, multiple factors होंगे ना diverse society में. It will be very difficult to decide ethics, especially in a diverse country. Or transitional societies. Another example can be there. In a transitional society, it will be very difficult to determine what is ethical in such kind of scenario. Whereas it is quite easy in more stable societies like Europe and US. You can give example of the great Indian spit, okay, which leads to many communicable diseases. Okay, I mean spitting on roads, I mean it's quite common. But the same is not there in other developed countries. Europe, US में ऐसी थोड़ी सड़क पे जा रहे हैं और कुछ भी कर दिया. Okay, in fact in India also this thing is illegal in many states, like in West Bengal, in Kerala. I mean spitting is illegal. Nose blowing in public places, people do these things. Okay, in fact there is an act also in West Bengal. In 2003 this act was passed. Okay, spitting in public, Prevention of Spitting in Public Places Act, 2003. Sorry? Genotype. Okay, so place, like apartheid was there in South Africa. Okay, slavery. All these multiple examples are there. ठीक है, see, देखो इस एग्जाम में especially in this paper you have just one point to write and then you have to substantiate it with multiple examples. जितने examples डालोगे the more innovative your answer will be. Okay, so place, just write one line about it. Place refers to the external environment which includes culture, government, institutions, family, school, religion, laws, customs and constitution. I mean all these factors are there. You will get more points to write in this answer when we'll discuss all these things separately, like how family impact the ethical structure, how school can impact. Okay, so place is there. Huh.
When you told in apartheid, in South Africa, you said it like can we consider it ethical even in South Africa?
What?
Apartheid.
Apartheid is unethical.
But like you told, it varies from in an example of place. So
Okay. Actually, see, basically that is a criticism of ethical relativism. Okay, I will come to this topic after doing this. अभी ये तीनों schools discuss करूँगा. Don't worry, this thing will come.
sir, can we give example of
हाँ.
places like tribal communities?
बिल्कुल दो.
Importance to trees and environment and
Yes, yes, certainly you can give. See, based on your knowledge, you can add multiple examples. कोई tribals का है, देखो मुझे सब कुछ तो नहीं पता ना. Okay, आप लोगों को मुझसे ज़्यादा knowledge है. In fact, you people are still in preparation mode. Okay, so use that knowledge. Okay, certainly there is no foundation कि ये होगा ये नहीं होगा. Anything can be written as an example here. Okay, provided it is logical. So place हो गया. Then the next and the last one is time. अब टाइम का तो बहुत एक क्लीशेड एग्जाम्पल आएगा कहीं से. टाइम, यस, हाउ एथिक्स चेंज विद टाइम. हाँ, सती आ गया. सती वॉज कॉमन, ओके, इट वॉज क्वाइट एथिकल, बट नाउ इट इज अनएथिकल. और दो एग्जाम्पल खाली सती. स्लेवरी इन यूएस, ओके. Yes, yes, equal rights to women, you can say equal rights to women. You, वो एक सोशल इशू है, वो एक सोशल इशू है. उसमें एथिकल अनएथिकल क्या है इतना. ओके, ठीक है. अरे इतने सारे एग्जाम्पल हैं. स्लेवरी है, रेसिज्म है, अनटचेबिलिटी इज देयर, कास्ट सिस्टम है जो अभी भी चल रहा है. कास्ट सिस्टम इज अ बिट कंट्रोवर्शियल, उसको छोड़ दो. इट इज ओके. और बताओ. Imperialism, earlier it was quite there. Colonialism, what's the difference? Imperialism or colonialism?
Imperialism is like direct presence is not there in that direct way. There is control, but there is not direct presence of the colonial.
Basically, imperialism is an ideology behind colonialism. Okay, imperialism is the ideology under which a country feels that because it is superior to the other country, that is why it has the right to control and colonize it. Okay, रुडयार्ड किपलिंग ने क्या phrase use किया था? White man's burden. Okay, it is the burden on the white people to civilize these barbarians. So we were the so-called barbarians at that time. Okay, so that thing was quite ethical 200 years back, but now it is not. अभी recently में there was a news 2 days back कि 100 years of equal voting rights to women in UK. In 1918 voting rights were not given to women in UK. Okay, उसके बाद दिया. तो now earlier voting नहीं था, अब है. Equal rights to women में this example can be quoted. Sorry?
Interracial marriages were illegal in US.
हाँ, yes, you can write that example. Yes. कोई tribal में था या फिर
Blacks and whites.
अच्छा, between blacks and whites. Okay, okay, yes, you can write that thing.
Culture of human rights.
Sorry?
Culture of human rights. पहले नहीं थे.
Yes, human rights. हाँ, उसी में आ गया ना. वुमेन राइट्स में, ह्यूमन राइट्स में ही और को स्पेसिफिक करके एग्जाम्पल डाल दो. राइट. सो टाइम, जस्ट राइट one line about it. Different individuals, societies and cultures have different set of moral codes, or may behave differently, at different times or in different situations. सिचुएशन में भी तो होता है ना. लाइक सपोज people living together from different communities, suddenly riots are there and they start killing each other. Okay, so ethics are situation based also. Okay, that thing will also come in time only. Now this is a very general thing that we have discussed about ethics, that ethics are contextual. Basically what I was discussing till now is ethical relativism. But in case of moral philosophy, this is not the only school. In fact, 3 schools are there. Ethical or moral, not much difference. These 3 schools are there: ethical moral relativism, ethical moral universalism, and ethical nihilism. Okay. Still, अब देखो वही आ जाएगा. As I told you yesterday, that multiple truths exist simultaneously in case of ethics. So till now we have discussed ethical relativism, that ethics are quite contextual in nature. However, there is one more school called ethical universalism. In fact, this is also quite prominent in nature. It says that no matter what ethics societies are following, there are certain ethics which are recognized, acknowledged and followed throughout all societies. Are you getting my point? And if a particular society is not following that particular ethic, let's say truthfulness or justice, then it is not the problem of the ethic, but it is the problem of that society itself. Like as you said, how we can say that apartheid is unethical. If it is happening in South Africa, it is their culture. Okay, but on this point only we can also say that what Hitler did in Germany, that was also ethical because it was their culture only. Okay, so basically that is a criticism of ethical relativism. Okay, and it is countered by ethical universalism. It says that basic values always remain same. जैसे एक example देता हूँ, like respecting, taking care of your parents. It is something which happens throughout all societies. Can we say this thing? What will you do if your parents fall ill? क्या करोगे आप लोग? You will take care of them. But there are certain societies, there are certain cultures in which the practice of stemmicide is there. Stemmicide क्या होता है? मार देते हैं. Killing your parents, killing the old age people. Okay, in fact in India also this practice is there in the name of Thalai Kuthal. In certain states it is followed. What's the logic behind it? That, I mean, because our parents are ill, they are terminally ill, they are in so much pain, so it is better to kill them so that they can enjoy in afterlife. I mean, but for you, it will be highly unethical in nature. You will do everything to keep your parents alive. करोगे ना? So, but the core value remains same: love and respect for parents. The manifestation can be different. Okay, like secularism is a universal value, but its manifestation can be different. In France, it is different. A negative concept is there. In India, a positive concept is followed. Okay. So, this ethical universalism, the school says that certain ethics will remain universal. Okay. This thing, the differences and some criticisms are also given in your booklet. Page number page number 15. Okay, so do read this thing from here also. Right, अपना इसी में नोट में बना लो कि पेज 15 रीड करना है. Now tell me, if your opinion is asked, that what in your opinion ethics are? Are they contextual or are they universal? So what will be your answer?
Depends on time to time situation.
So both kind of
अरे ओपिनियन पूछिए, बताओ है कि नहीं है.
both are valid, but slowly the
हाँ.
contextual ones, as the society advances,
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
come into
ये है आंसर. Okay, what you are going to say, that yes, ethics are contextual, their manifestation is different in different societies. You can give examples, time, place, person. However, with the advancement of the societies, with globalization, with change in ICT, information communication technology, now things are changing. Now what is happening? That societies are becoming aware of what is happening in other societies. Okay, now different cultures are sharing each other's values, and because of this sharing, because globalization, what is happening? That now a certain set of ethics is coming up, which is acknowledged and recognized throughout all societies. And can you give me example?
human rights.
Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. It's an example of ethical universalism. UN Charter is an example of ethical universalism. World Bank conditionalities क्या है? In order to give loan, what conditionalities are there? Democracy, human rights, justice, good governance, environmental concern, all these are universal ethics. I hope you have understood this thing. See, it is very simple to define ethical relativism and universalism, but UPSC is not going to ask it. It will ask your opinion कि होना क्या चाहिए. In fact, this is what was asked in I think in 2013. This question was there. Okay, so this is what you will write. That yes, both schools are there and debate is there. Both have their pros and cons. But we can say that ethics are contextual. But with time, some things are changing now. Now a certain set of universality is there. Got it? ये है कहानी सारी. Just 2-3 लाइनें लिख लो उसके ऊपर because the point is important. Problem with universally defining ethics is that there are many different elements that contribute to them. However, with the advancement of the societies, and world converting into a global village, comma, there are certain ethics which are now recognized by almost every country. Okay, then you can give examples: UN Charter and Universal Declaration on Human Rights by UN in 1948 are based on theory of ethical universalism are now based on theory of ethical universalism. It is now believed that no society can sustain for long without embracing certain ethical standards like honesty, justice, equality, tolerance, freedom and peace. Okay, so this is the idea. One more school is there, ethical nihilism. Okay, it is a very radical form of ethical relativism. क्या है इसका पता है कुछ आइडिया? हाँ, कोई है ही नहीं ethics. They say ethical nihilism says that ethics are highly individualistic in nature. Every individual has its own definition of right and wrong. Therefore, it is complete wastage of time to study ethics. There are no ethics. Ethics is a farce. Okay, it's a pseudo discipline. झूठ है सब. सबका अपना definition है. Okay, so this is what nihilism says. Right. Chalo. So this topic is done. Now we'll move to the next topic, consequences of ethics. Yes, what do you mean by this? Consequences of ethics? When there is no ethics, yes. Here also two dimensions are there. That positive repercussions of presence of ethics and negative repercussion of absence of ethics. Okay, so what's the importance of ethics now? Certainly they are highly important. In fact, every organization, every society has today recognized its significance. So बहुत चीजें हैं. देखो, never think randomly. Okay, think in different contexts, like political context, social context, individual context. Then you will be able to get more points. First of all, make a small introduction. You can say that ethics works like electricity. Can we say this thing? Now, can you see electricity? But you can see its impact. Okay. Similarly, in government organization or in society also, ethics are not directly seen, but their impact can be felt by their presence as well as their absence. Okay, so why I am giving you these points? Because many times you people find it difficult to write introductions and conclusions part. Okay. So instead of writing that oh hence or therefore wala conclusion, add some quality by writing such points. Okay, so ethics works like electricity. Okay, in fact second ARC has also said the same thing, that no organization, no individual, no society can sustain for long without embracing ethics. सेकेंड ARC शॉर्ट में लिखना सीखो थोड़ा सा. ओके, नो सस्टेन फॉर लॉन्ग विदाउट एम्ब्रेसिंग एथिक्स. फोर्थ रिपोर्ट, एथिक्स इन गवर्नेंस. नो सोसाइटी, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इंडिविजुअल कैन सस्टेन फॉर लॉन्ग विदाउट एम्ब्रेसिंग एथिक्स. try to start with a very strong example. Look what happened with Japan and Germany. Highly developed states, but because of unethical behavior, they were completely destroyed. Okay, start with such examples. In fact, in case of Japan, you can give the counter example also. And it is because of ethics only that they were able to raise to the same standards of living within 10 years of all destruction. Within 10 years, I mean after World War II, they raised to the same level of living. Okay, so try to start with such examples. Now consequences. See, this topic is very important. Every year they are asking at least one question. Okay, now first of all, what are the positive repercussions or positive consequences? Positive consequences. First of all, at individual level. At individual level. At individual level, the first point is satisfying basic human needs. Okay, within this point, just write one more line, that ethics motivate people towards higher goals of life, like self-esteem and self-realization. Self-esteem and self-realization. Ethics help people to reach their ideals. We discussed that thing, virtue ideals. Have you people heard about Maslow's need hierarchy theory of motivation? पढ़ा है कभी? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थ्योरी कई जगह पर है. चलो, I mean this theory is very important and it can be used in your general studies paper also. In this paper also it can be used at many places. यहाँ पे क्रिएटिविटी की जगह है. Physiological needs, food, sex, sleep, security needs, job, house, social needs, friends, love, self-esteem, that is basic respect, what you think about yourself as well as what other people think about you, and finally self-realization, that is creativity. Okay, so basically ethics motivates us to achieve these higher goals of life. Without ethics, human beings will just get stuck in these lower needs, security needs or physiological needs में रह जाएगा. Okay, basically this theory of motivation says that first of all human beings are motivated to achieve this. After this thing will get fulfilled, this thing will get achieved. Then this, and finally self-realization. Okay, so satisfying basic human needs. This is the first point. Now the next point is it helps people to make moral analysis. It helps people to make moral analysis. Okay, without ethics, people will just do cost-benefit analysis. Life will become a balance sheet. But only ethics are there, then only the society, people will start living each other. They will be able to, what we can say, establish good relationships, which is the foundation of a happy life. Now, at organizational level, what happens? First point you can write is creating credibility and trust. This is again a very important point. I mean, why these companies, Tatas, Birlas, why they have been able to sustain for such a long period of time? Because of their ethical conduct only. Okay. कौन फाइनेंस करता था कांग्रेस को? टाटास करते थे, बिरलास करते थे. Okay, they have consistently took part in the freedom struggle, right? So this point is there, credibility is there, trust is there. I mean, why? I mean, the share value of let's say Infosys, it doesn't fluctuate much. Why? It's because of high level of credibility. Okay, and credibility comes from ethical behavior, right? Second point you can write, uniting people and leadership. Uniting people and leadership. I mean, work culture will be good if ethics are there. Okay, attrition rate will be low. Okay, people will not leave the organization. Okay, the efficiency of organization will increase. Quality of work will be enhanced. Okay, next point that you can write is it helps in decision making. Okay, I mean this point is quite simple, decision making is there. And then the fourth point you can add is it helps administrators in making more reflective judgments, comma, that can be defended in public. that can be defended in public. I mean, moral analysis, like for example, drought is there in India, okay, but at the same time there is an earthquake in Nepal, okay. So on what grounds India will defend transferring resources from India to Nepal? On ethical grounds only. Okay, so many times the decisions can be defended on the basis of ethics only. Like जो LPG का था, LPG subsidy, moral suasion was used by PM. करते हैं ना, RBI moral suasion use करता है. Okay, why? Because ethics do play a very important role. It has a huge impact on the psyche of people.
Organization level, can we say that aligning organizational goals with social goals?
Yes, yes. CSR you can write about. The CSR में multiple points can come. Corporate social responsibility. Okay. Chalo. Then at social level. Next perspective is at social level. First point you can write is securing the society. Securing the society. Often ethics succeeds law. Often ethics succeeds law in safeguarding the society. Like so many internal security problems are there, land acquisition problems are there. Okay, usually we have seen that these problems can only be handled through ethical behavior rather than coercion of people, rather than just enforcing a particular law on them. Okay, like you can give example of technology also. Like what is happening with technology, that before a law can be there to control the technology evolves coming up with new challenges, new threats. Okay, so it is very difficult to control technology, information, communication, social media through laws. It can only be controlled through ethical behaviors. Yes, yes, certainly, yes, yes. Okay, so this thing is there. Then next point you can write is, it helps in bringing integration and stability. Brings integration and stability to the society. Integration and stability. Very generic point this is. Okay, next is, it brings harmony at social level. It brings harmony at social level and enhances social capital. Now this word social capital is very important. You know what it is?
Strength and number of connections.
Strengths and number of connections between people. Basically, second ARC has came up with a separate report on social capital. Ninth report is there, social capital, a shared destiny. Okay, so in this this definition of social capital is also been there. If you want to write social capital definition, it refers to those institutions. It refers to those institutions, relationships and norms, institutions, relationships and norms that shape the quality and quantity, that shape the quantity and quality of interactions among people. That shapes the quality and quantity of interactions among people. Okay, like if love is there between communities, if harmony is there, what will happen? More stability, more development. I mean, development can only take place when peace is there in society. Okay, certainly the expenses of government will also get saved. Okay, less amount will be incurred on these law and order problems. Right. Social capital, that is why is very important, and the second ARC has recommended the same, that government must invest in enhancing social capital. And how it can be done? By investing in civil society. Okay. Tolerance, by value education, all these things can be enhanced. Got it? So the social capital point is very important, and it can be used again and again in your case studies as well as section A answers. सोशल कैपिटल इज अ कॉमन गुड, अभी डिस्कस करेंगे जब केस स्टडीज करेंगे. ओके, द लास्ट पॉइंट दैट यू कैन राइट हियर इज एथिक्स हेल्प्स इन. हाँ,
Understood that social capital enables homogeneous norms which enables interaction amongst people.
देखो ऐसा नहीं है होमोजीनियस नॉर्म्स.
How does
व्हाई पीपल आर सो एवर्स टू डाइवर्सिटी. हाँ.
How does social capital, how is it affected by the presence of ethics?
By the presence of ethics, because then people will be able to understand each other. See, what is the goal of ethics?
Because we have shared norms.
देखो shared norms होना जरूरी नहीं है. Acknowledgement of each other's norm is important. Okay, social capital, देखो ethics का objective क्या है? The objective of ethics is to convert egoism to altruism. Egoism, you understand, self-interest, and altruism, selfless work. Okay, and only when we will be altruistic in nature, certainly the social capital will enhance. If we'll start thinking about the society before thinking about ourselves, then certainly social capital will increase. Okay. अभी हम I will discuss this point that diversity is not a problem, it's an opportunity. Okay, एक last point लिख लो. Ethics helps in the progress of society. Ethics helps in the progress of society as it propagates values of equality. As it propagates values of equality, tolerance, liberty, justice, fraternity, and altruism. People think of social interest, people think of social interest before personal interest. Okay, now negative repercussions of absence of ethics. क्या होगा अगर एथिक्स नहीं होगा तो? देखो, फिर डोंट थिंक रैंडमली, थिंक इन अ पर्टिकुलर कॉन्टेक्स्ट. हमेशा एग्जाम के अंदर कॉन्टेक्स्ट में करोगे, इट विल रियली हेल्प यू. ओके, अदरवाइज यू विल जस्ट गेट 3 or 4 points. Think in terms of, first of all, let's say international, highest level, international level. What will happen at international level if no ethics are there? बताओ क्या होगा? War, more conflicts will be there. Anarchy थोड़ा सोसाइटी, नेशनल लेवल पे वर्ड यूज होता है. ओके, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स विल बी देयर, ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट विल बी देयर. ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट लिखो. यूज ऑफ हाई पावर, यस, यूज ऑफ हैंड, हार्ड पावर. ओके, यूज ऑफ मिलिट्री पावर, यू कैन से हार्ड पावर, यू कैन से माइट इज राइट वाला हो जाएगा. यस, जंगल का कानून फॉलो होगा. Matsya Raj from Kautilya you can use. Matsya Raj, you understand? Matsya क्या होता है?
Small fish, small fish.
Big fish eat small fish. बड़ी मछली छोटी मछली को खा जाती है, यही जंगल का राज है. Okay, so Matsya Raj will come. Okay, global issues, global problems will never get solved. कहाँ से होगा global problems? क्या है global problems? Climate change, terrorism, this refugee crisis. Okay, these problems will never get resolved if there is no ethics at international level. जैसे in 2016 चिलकॉट रिपोर्ट के any idea about this Chilcot report? Basically in UK the report was on the involvement of UK in 2003 Iraq invasion. Okay, and the report came out with the fact that UK entered the war under the influence of US without exhausting all other options of peace. Just war theory अभी हम करेंगे, we'll do this thing. It basically says that war should be your last option. Okay, but this report said that war was not taken as a last option. Chilcot report, very famous report is. Okay, so international level so many problems are there. देखो कितने points आ गए, examples भी आएंगे. Right, you can write example of Yemen, कैसे वो fight हो रहा है. Syria का example, all countries are working for their self-interest. Okay, nationalism will start dominating internationalism. ठीक है. Then at national level what will happen? At national, or you can say at political level, national or political level.
Global level there will be decrease in economic.
हाँ बिल्कुल, economic growth will weaken. Yes, you can write that point. रोग nations आ जाएंगे. International terrorism, कितने मर्जी लिख दो, points की कमी थोड़ी है. Okay, I mean this list is not exhaustive. अब जितना मर्जी ऐड करो उसमें. Then at political national level, tell me what will happen. क्या हो रहा है? What is happening in a country? Intolerance. Yes, intolerance लिखो चलो. Intolerance. Example दो, like international Arab Spring. Arab Spring, you know ना? Tunisia, Libya, Yemen, Egypt, in all these countries. Okay, see, basic this is a kind of civil war was there, almost a civil war in these countries. All these countries had their own issues, but two issues were common in all these countries. What were those two issues? Corruption and human rights violation. सब में गवर्नमेंट के अंदर दो चीजें थी, ये करप्शन एंड ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन. ओके, सो यू कैन एट दिस पॉइंट यू कैन गिव एग्जांपल. टूनिशिया, लीबिया में जो हुआ, ऑल दीस एग्जांपल्स कैन बी रिटन. सिविल वॉर, एनार्की. इतना बुरा नहीं है. हाँ, यस यस. Separatism, balkanization. जितना भी इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम है सब डाल दो. ओके, देन पॉलिटिकल लेवल पे व्हाट इज हैपनिंग? डिसरप्शन इन पार्लियामेंट. हंग पार्लियामेंट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली. अभी देखो 2019 में हंग पार्लियामेंट के चांसेस हैं. हंग पार्लियामेंट एंड कोएलिशन गवर्नमेंट, ये पॉइंट लिख लो. हंग पार्लियामेंट and coalition governments which by nature are unstable and decision making is slow. अरे कोलिशन गवर्नमेंट में एथिक्स नहीं है, हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग हो रहा है, ओके, जस्ट फॉर देयर सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट, जस्ट इन ऑर्डर टू मेक द गवर्नमेंट दे आर फॉर्मिंग कोएलिशंस. अब कर्नाटका में क्या हुआ, कोलिशन गवर्नमेंट है, बट इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर पीडीपी बीजेपी देयर आइडियोलॉजी इज कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट. क्या होगा उससे? इट विल लीड टू लॉट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन. इन लॉन्ग टर्म व्हाट विल हैपन? सोशल इंटरेस्ट, नेशनल इंटरेस्ट विल सफर. ठीक है, और बताओ क्या होगा? टॉलरेंस यू सेड, इन इट विल लीड टू लॉट ऑफ इनटॉलरेंस, कास्टिज्म, रीजनलिज्म, रेसिज्म, कम्युनलिज्म. कितने सब वर्ड्स डालो सोसाइटी के. एक सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट भूल रहे हैं, पॉलिटिकल करप्शन. एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स. लॉस ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैल्यूज. नो रूल ऑफ लॉ. कितने पॉइंट्स हैं? जितने मर्जी लिखो. सोशल लेवल पे व्हाट विल हैपन? सोशल लेवल, हेट क्राइम्स. यस यस, यू कैन राइट. क्या हो रहा है अभी? विजिलेंटिज्म, काउ विजिलेंटिज्म, इनटॉलरेंस, मॉरल पुलिसिंग, क्राइम अगेंस्ट वुमेन, ओल्ड एज, children, animals. Apathy increase हो रहा है, inequalities are increasing, violence is increasing in society. वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल में डाल देंगे. कितने पॉइंट्स हैं सोसाइटी में? हाँ देखो, कास्ट
lack of ethics. It can be because of obscure ethics. Like they believe in certain form of ethics which is not relevant now.
देखो वो रिलीजन बेस्ड है. The basis
exactly lack of ethics, but a different form of ethics.
a different, you can write that thing, okay, but the different form of ethics cannot be justified on the ground of reason. नहीं वही मैं वो नहीं कर रहा, I'm just discussing कि वो reason के grounds पे हम उसको justify नहीं कर पाएंगे. Okay, basically religious justifications are given. Okay, so social level is done. जैसे निर्भया केस वगैरह, यू कैन ऐड दीज एग्जांपल्स आल्सो. जैसे अभी मतलब रेप के केसेस बहुत ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो गए हैं. स्पेशली अभी कल न्यूज़पेपर आया, एक 70 ईयर ओल्ड कोई आर्मी का था, ही रेप्ड एन 8 ईयर ओल्ड गर्ल. तो ये आई मीन यू कैन राइट, ये थोड़ा क्या इमोशनल कंटेंट इंक्रीज करो आंसर में. ओके, इंडिया में इमोशंस बहुत चलते हैं. ओके, so you can add such examples. Right, organizational level. Biggest manifestation क्या है? एब्सेंस ऑफ एथिक्स, करप्शन। सेकेंड एआरसी ने यही बोला, सेकेंड एआरसी बिगेस्ट मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ एब्सेंस ऑफ एथिक्स इज करप्शन। ठीक है, और क्या होगा? थोड़ा जेनरिक हो गया। अरे कंट्रोल क्यों करना है? सपोर्ट लीड करो सबॉर्डिनेट्स को। नेपोटिज्म लिख दो, नेपोटिज्म, फेवरेटिज्म, you can say loss of trust among employees and employers, वर्क कल्चर डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगा, लॉलेसनेस, सब ऑप्टिमल यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेस, कितना कुछ है। इनइक्वालिटीज इंक्रीज हो जाएंगी, क्रेडिबिलिटी वगैरह, ये वो सब पॉइंट्स हैं। इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे क्या होगा? व्हाट विल हैपन एट इंडिविजुअल लेवल? डिसोनेंस, हाँ लिखो, बिल्कुल लिखो। इनर डिसोनेंस, अनरेस्ट रहेगा हमेशा अंदर। और बताओ क्या होगा? वो सोशल, उस पे रेडिकलाइजेशन, हम मतलब मिक्स है, या तो सोसाइटी में डाल दो, इंडिविजुअल में डाल दो, नॉट मच डिफरेंस। पेटी क्राइम्स, यू कैन से पेटी क्राइम्स विल इंक्रीज। अभी कोई रिसेंट से एग्जांपल तो कैसे, क्या एग्जांपल्स आ रहे हैं? स्टॉकिंग के केसेस आ रहे हैं, स्टॉकिंग के केसेस आते हैं ना सोसाइटी में से। और क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं? एसिड अटैक्स, domestic violence, juvenile crimes are increasing. हाँ लिख सकते हैं, वो थोड़ा साइकोलॉजिकल ज्यादा है।
चीटिंग, मास चीटिंग।
हाँ, मास चीटिंग, यस, वेरी गुड एग्जांपल, मास चीटिंग। चीटिंग भाई, चीटिंग जो होता है आपका, जैसे डाइवोर्स केसेस भी इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, बेगिंग के केसेस, बेगर्स आर, नंबर ऑफ बेगर्स आर इंक्रीजिंग, डाउरी डेथ्स, यस, वेरी गुड एग्जांपल। सोसाइटी में भी डाल सकते हैं, इंडिविजुअल पे भी। यू कैन से हेडोनिस्टिक टेंडेंसीज आर इंक्रीजिंग, हेडोनिस्टिक टेंडेंसीज। What is hedonism? Pleasure-seeking behavior. Basically, it's a school of thought in moral philosophy which argues that pleasure is the primary goal of human beings. Pleasure-seeking animals है. Okay, so hedonistic tendencies enhance हो रही हैं. Cyber crimes लिखो, हाँ cyber crimes लिख सकते हैं, yes. अरे कहीं भी डाल दो, एक जगह डाल दो, कोई फिक्स कैटेगरी थोड़ी है। फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स, दैट कैन बी यूज्ड इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आल्सो। ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग डाल दो सोसाइटी या नेशनल लेवल पे। मैंने कहा ना, ऑल दोज इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम्स, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम, ऑल दोज थिंग्स कैन बी यूज्ड है। लिंक करो, वंस दैट लिंक विल गेट एस्टैब्लिश्ड देयर विल बी नो डेथ ऑफ पॉइंट्स। जगह खत्म हो जाएगी, पॉइंट्स खत्म नहीं होंगे, राइट? चलो अब देखो एक और चीज, सपोज इफ अ क्वेश्चन, नाउ वी हैव रिटन मोर पॉइंट्स इन लॉस ऑफ एथिक्स देन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एथिक्स। इफ अ क्वेश्चन कम्स ऑन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एथिक्स, जस्ट रिवर्स ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स। दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल्ड मेकिंग ऑप्टिमल यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ योर रिसोर्सेज। इन्हीं को घुमा दो, नो करप्शन, no criminalization of politics, cases like begging, divorce, they will decrease. Okay, just reverse all these points, you will get सब आ जाएगा उसके अंदर. Okay, So this is it, consequences of ethics, right? Now we'll move to the next topic, dimensions of ethics. कुछ नहीं आ रहा समझ तो पूछ लो भाई. Contracts. This one, na? Contracts. Common good. Okay.
Like the syllabus just says dimensions of ethics. So the aspects of dimension, they are based on some theory or some popular thinkers or they are the consensus.
अभी आते हैं. I'll come to that. Don't worry. ये हो गया. This is done. चलो. Dimensions of ethics. Right. What do you mean by dimensions? Synonyms. What constitutes ethics, or what are the factors of ethics? What are the perspectives of ethics? See, this is how questions will be asked. Context. Synonyms बताओ. Facets. ये सब different words हैं. Elements. Different aspects of ethics. ये सब आ सकता है. Okay. Now, basically these four branches are there. They are also used in moral philosophy. Okay, and as you will see that they are evolutionary in nature. From one branch comes other branch. Okay, I mean the next branch is the logical step after the first branch. Like first of all, we have meta-ethics. Okay, meta-ethics basically deals with the basic fundamental question of ethics. Like, what does right even mean? What is God? What is religion? What is wrong? What is knowledge? These basic words, basic concepts are dealt with in meta-ethics. Okay, this is the first thing. First of all, you have to lay down the theory. Okay, but being a civil services candidate, you are much less concerned with this meta-ethics part. UPSC is more concerned with normative and applied ethics. Okay, so meta-ethics, just one line about meta-ethics. This dimension deals with the issues of universal truths, comma, the will of God, comma, role of reason in ethical judgments, and the meaning of ethical terms themselves. Okay, see, there are multiple issues in meta-ethics, but the two most important, which are also important for UPSC, are metaphysical issues and psychological issues. Metaphysical issues basically deal with this particular problem of ethical relativism versus ethical universalism that we have already discussed. Okay, basically, like ethical universalism, it says that ethics are spirit-like entities. Okay, they are beyond human realm. Even if human beings are not there yet, these ethics will remain. Okay, God has created them. They are universal in nature. They are permanent. Whereas relativism, it says that they are human creations. Okay, humans have invented them and they will get destroyed along with human beings. A simple idea hai. Okay, relativism says they belong to this world. Universalism says they belong to the other world, beyond human realm. Okay, so this thing we have already discussed. Now this second question, psychological issues, that why be moral? It is the most fundamental question of ethics. Why be moral? बताओ भाई, why be moral? एक metaphysical का एक line लिख लो, छोटा छोटा सा. Metaphysical issues study that whether ethics belongs to this world or some other world. It studies whether ethics are absolute, and universal in nature, or they are human inventions. Which change according to the situation. ओके अभी एक बहुत ही क्लासिक क्वेश्चन है, वाई बी मॉरल? सोशल हार्मनी, यस. इनफैक्ट अगेन देखो रिलेशन स्टैब्लिश करना है. कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस अभी हमने डिस्कस किए लास्ट टॉपिक, बिकॉज द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस आर हार्श. ओके, in fact let me tell you one story. In fact this was a question which was asked by Draupadi to Yudhishthira also. Okay, like after that game of dice, okay, when they were in exile for 13 years, so one day they were living the life of hermit. I mean, they were kings, Ashwamedh Yag वगैरह कर रहे थे. He was a king of kings, Yudhishthira, and now he was living in a small hut in forest. Okay, so he was one day, I mean, Draupadi was sitting and she was quite frustrated. Okay, and she asked Yudhishthira that, I mean, why be moral? What morality has given you? Okay, it has only given trouble to us. It has only insulted us. Okay, why don't you raise an army and attack Hastinapur? Why don't you take the revenge of my insult? Okay, so when this rage, when this frustration was shown by Draupadi, so at that time Yudhishthira gave many explanations for being moral. Okay, so this thing is very important. So the first thing that he said was that societies have created morals so that human beings can cooperate with each other. So without ethics, cooperation is not possible. ये first point था, इसको लिख लो चाहे तो. Societies have developed ethics so that people can cooperate with each other. Okay, then he said, Draupadi again, she was highly frustrated, not satisfied. Then he said that ethics brings balance in society. Balance likho. Ethics brings balance and harmony in society. Dharma word का meaning क्या होता है? What's the meaning of dharma? To balance. Dharma word has come from the word dhara, which means balance on earth. Okay. Then he said that consequences are very harsh. I mean, if we do not follow ethics, then the consequences are going to be very harsh. War is good for no one. There are no victors in a war. This is the line he said. War में कोई victor नहीं होता. Everyone loses in a war. Okay, it is good for nobody. Okay, then he said that life will become a mess without ethics. Life will become a mess. Inner dissonance, unrest will be there. You will never get satisfied. Okay, फिर भी द्रौपदी को समझ नहीं आया. So finally then he said कि after life will not be good. फिर वो थोड़ा metaphysical पहुंच गए कि after life will not be good. We'll all go to hell. Rebirth will be there. We will not achieve our moksha. After life not good. अरे after life नरक में जाओगे कि नहीं जाओगे, अनएथिकल रहोगे तो रीबर्थ हो जाएगा, यू विल नॉट अचीव योर मोक्ष. ओके, but then also Draupadi was not satisfied. Then finally he said, I act ethically because this is what I am and this is what I must do. Okay, this is my nature. So being ethical is in the nature of human beings. Kant ने भी यही बोला है कि all of us have conscience, it is inherent to us. और आप कहोगे साइकोपैथ में तो वो नहीं होता. साइकोपैथ में होता है, बट वो सोया हुआ होता है, डॉर्मेंट होता है. ओके, सो फाइनली युधिष्ठिर सेड दैट आई डू नॉट एक्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ फ्रूट्स ऑफ धर्म, आई डू इट फॉर इट्स ओन सेक, आई डू इट बिकॉज दिस इज व्हाट आई मस्ट डू. ओके, एक बहुत अच्छा एक लाइन था कि विदाउट एथिक्स the whole world, it is there in Mahabharata only, without ethics the whole world will sink into the bottomless darkness. The whole world would sink in the bottomless darkness. Okay, in fact there is a Greek saying also that let the lie come in this world. Okay, let the lie come in this world, let it even dominate this world, but not through me. Greek saying है कि let the lie come into this world. Lie or wrong things, anything given, right? Let it even dominate this world. But not through me. I will not become the medium of it. Why I am telling you? क्योंकि ये बहुत अच्छा conclusions है. Okay, ये अच्छे introductions भी हैं. Right. Apart from this, being morally Indian concept है. Okay, Western concept में क्या बोलते हैं? To avoid punishment, to gain praise, self interest की बात करती है. Basically rational self interest is there, altruistic self interest भी होता है, multiple self interests are there. Praise मिलेगा, we will be recognized by other people in society. I mean, will be able to achieve happiness in life. Dignity will be there. Okay, so these are all Western concepts. Okay, so if this question comes, why be moral? So you can write multiple points. Okay, just एक दो लाइनें लिख लो उसमें. I mean, psychological issues, it deals with the question, why be moral? Okay, or what's the utility of being moral? And various answers to this question is, various answers are to avoid punishment, to gain praise, to attain happiness, to be dignified, dignity, self-respect, self-esteem will come, how you look yourself, or to fit in with society, Okay, so this question is answered. Why be moral? और भी है, like utilitarianism says that being ethical leads to maximum good for maximum number of people. Utilitarianism बोलता है. Okay, common good says that it leads to the establishment of common good, being ethical. Okay, multiple है, again it depends upon the context.
महाभारत में दूसरा व्यू भी तो है, तो उसको जस्टिफाई कैसे किया है?
कौन सा दूसरा व्यू है?
जहाँ पे they do unethical things for the right end.
वो एक डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट है. देखो, द सेम थिंग हैपेंड बिटवीन लॉर्ड कृष्णा एंड अर्जुना आल्सो इन द बैटल फील्ड. ओके, अर्जुना आस्क्ड द सेम क्वेश्चंस विद फ्रॉम लॉर्ड कृष्णा आल्सो, बट बेसिकली युधिष्ठिर इज टॉकिंग अबाउट साधारण धर्म. ओके, whereas in that case Lord Krishna talked about swadharma or vishesh dharma, so duties of kshatriya. So that is a different context that I will discuss in that moral philosophy part. Okay, देखो, Mahabharata is obsessed with right and wrong. Okay, and yet in the end it only concludes that ethics are highly contextual and subtle in nature. पूरी महाभारत में राइट रॉन्ग चलता रहा और एंड में कंक्लूजन क्या निकला? भीष्म पितामह सेड दिस थिंग कि भाई एथिक्स आर हाईली सटल इन नेचर, वो कॉन्टेक्चुअल है, कुछ नहीं कह सकते. इनफैक्ट टीवी में जो आप महाभारत देखते हैं दैट इज ओनली टू द 12th अध्याय, जबकि उसमें 18 अध्याय हैं. बाद के 6 कोई नहीं पढ़ता, एंड दोज 6 आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, चलो, ये हो गया, मेटा एथिक्स हो गया. यू हैव अंडरस्टूड. नाउ द बेस हैज बीन बिल्ट. ओके, फाउंडेशंस हैव बीन लेड. नाउ डिस्क्रिप्टिव एथिक्स विल कम. Descriptive ethics are empirical in nature. They just try to find out how people behave in different cultures and societies. Basic empirical investigation of behavior of different people in different societies. इससे क्या होगा? We will get the data that how people are behaving. Okay, like before making material content, जब आप अपने लिए करते हो तो you gather, I mean, information from multiple sources. हिंदू भी पढ़ेंगे, PIB भी पढ़ेंगे, सब में एक ही न्यूज है, बट सबको इकट्ठा करेंगे एंड देन यू विल मेक योर नोट्स. तो नॉर्मेटिव एथिक्स आ जाता है, वो जो नोट्स आप बनाते हो. बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डिस्क्रिप्टिव एथिक्स, हाउ पीपल एक्ट इन डिफरेंट कल्चर्स. या समझ डिस्क्रिप्टिव एथिक्स, इसमें यार डिटेल में नहीं जाना. ओके, आपके उसमें नहीं है ये, जस्ट 2-3 लाइनें लिख लो उसमें. डिस्क्रिप्टिव एथिक्स इन्वॉल्व्स empirical investigation. It involves empirical investigation of people's moral beliefs. It studies the history and evolution of ethics, and gives a record of certain taboos, customs, or conventions prevalent in different cultures. Okay, in fact multiple theories are like Darwin ने भी ethics की बात किया था कि ethics are evolutionary. I mean ethics have helped human being to evolve. Okay, so evolutionary है nature में. Right, so all these things comes into descriptive ethics. Now you have studied how human beings are behaving in different cultures. अरे human beings evolve. क्या था फर्स्ट पॉइंट कि ethics are developed by human beings so that they can cooperate with each other. ठीक है, अब जो primitive जो human beings थे, अब अगर वो साथ नहीं रहते तो would they able to survive? नहीं कर पाते ना. एंड इफ दे आर लिविंग टुगेदर इट्स ओनली पॉसिबल बिकॉज ऑफ एथिक्स. ओनली व्हेन दे आर एल्ट्रुइस्टिक इन नेचर. इवन यू विल सी एल्ट्रुइज्म इवन अमंग एनिमल्स. देखा है आपने, जैसे वो ब्लैक बर्ड होती है एक, तो इट स्टार्ट्स मेकिंग साउंड्स व्हेन लायन इज अप्रोचिंग हर्ड ऑफ डियर. नहीं, एलिफेंट्स के अंदर एल्ट्रुइज्म देखा जाता है. ओके, मंकीज वो शाउट करना शुरू कर देते हैं व्हेन द लायन इज अप्रोचिंग. ओके, सो ये एल्ट्रुइस्टिक बिहेवियर शो करता है. ओके, इनफैक्ट हनी बीज में this thing has been shown, ants may this thing has been shown. You suppose they are not able to if they suppose they do not have children. Okay, so what they will do, if they doesn't have their own offsprings, what they will do, they will help other ants to raise their offsprings. Okay, so that even if they will not survive, but the society, the whole colony of ants will survive. Okay, तो इनमें भी एल्ट्रुइज्म है. तो एल्ट्रुइज्म इज वेरी नेसेसरी फॉर द सर्वाइवल, फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ सोसाइटी. तो तभी वो डार्विन ने उनको एवोल्यूशन में डाला. ओके, कहाँ थे? नॉर्मेटिव एथिक्स पे थे. चलो, नाउ अब क्या हुआ देखो. फाइनली वी हैव डिस्कस्ड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, नाउ विल डिस्कस व्हाट should happen. Okay, and this comes under normative ethics or prescriptive ethics. They prescribe that what should be done. Okay, basically normative ethics are in search of an ideal litmus test to decide what is right and what is wrong. Okay, like one principle is there, golden principle it is called in ethics. It was given by Confucius. Chinese scholar. Golden rule क्या है? Do to others what you expect others to do to you. It's a golden rule of ethics. लिख लो चलो थोड़ा सा ये. Normative ethics is a search. Normative ethics is a search for an ideal litmus test. Is a search for an ideal litmus test of proper behavior and thus try to prescribe various norms which should be followed by people to remain ethical. For example, the golden rule which suggests that we should do to others what we want others to do to us. The same thing has been given in Mahabharata also. Okay, so Mahabharata को भी quote कर सकते हैं. Okay, one should never do to others whom one regards injurious to oneself. This is given in Mahabharata. One should never do to others whom one regards injurious to oneself. Just language different है, idea इससे. अब देखो, in this normative ethics there is no one school. In fact, multiple approaches are there which can be divided into three branches: teleological approach, deontological approach and virtue approach. ये बहुत सुना होगा आपने, teleological approach. Teleos, this word basically means ends based approach. Okay, or consequential approach. What will be the consequence of my actions? If consequences are right, then no matter what action I take, it will be ethical. Okay, like nationalism, national interest. Okay, if for national interest I have to kill hundreds of people, then also it is ethical. Okay, end based approach है ये. All right, like what US is doing. Okay, चाहे जितने भी कितनों को भी मारना पड़े, जीनोसाइड करना पड़े, no problem. If it is in my national interest, it is ethical. Common good. Common good होते हैं जैसे environment है, like social capital I told you, like law and order. I mean, any action which is taken in order to safeguard common good, then it is ethical in nature. I'm going to discuss these approaches in great detail while doing ethical dilemmas. Okay, right now I'm just giving you a very brief idea.
Evictions, displacement,
किया जा सकता है, कह सकते हैं, yes you can say. Land acquisition, like infrastructure is a common good. Okay, so for that, if land is taken from the farmer, then the action will be regarded as ethical. Then egoism, self-interest. Anything which is in my interest is ethical. Okay, and finally utilitarianism. ये आप लोग जानते हैं, greatest good for the greatest number of people. For that, if we have to kill other people also, then also it's not wrong. Like for example, your Hiroshima Nagasaki bombing. Okay, it was defended on the basis of utilitarianism only. Okay, why? Because the Allied forces, US said that if we would not have bombed Hiroshima Nagasaki, then the war would have continued for another 18 months, leading to more casualties. और ज़्यादा लोग मरते. Okay, so utilitarianism अभी explain करेंगे जब dilemmas में जाएंगे. Just now, right now, just have a brief idea about them. Okay, then we have these deontological approaches. Ki no matter what the end is, the methods should be correct. It's a means based approach जो गांधी जी use करते थे. I gave you that चौड़ी चौरा example. Okay, suspension of non-cooperation movement. So rights based है. First is rights approach. No matter what happens, rights of people must be protected. Right to privacy होना चाहिए. Right to liberty, freedom of expression होना चाहिए, even if it leads to let's say hate speeches. Hate speech क्या है? अगर आप नहीं बोलने दे रहे तो वो तो violation of freedom of expression हो गया. But it must be done for social interest. So rights approach, contract based approach. Okay, or commitment. Once you have signed a contract, you must follow it, no matter what will be the end. Okay, justice. Justice, fairness, fair criteria must always be followed, no matter what the end is. Like for example, reservation को जैसे कई लोग लेके चलते हैं, though it's a misconception, उनको लगता है कि no, it is not fair. Okay, because the end is not correct. Right, and duty-based approach. No matter what happens, we must do our duty. Duty भीष्म पितामह follow करते थे. Duty कर्ण follow करता था. Karna, the character of Karna in Mahabharata. Okay, they were all followers of the ontological or duty-based approach. Armed forces, yes, you can say duty-based. Right. So these are एक virtue approach all है. Okay, virtue approach. I have already told you what virtues are. Okay, like for most of the ethical approaches, the question is.
explain that justice part by more examples.
Justice थोड़ा सा complex है. I will discuss it in great detail while discussing ethical dilemmas. Right now, just a basic idea. Okay. अभी आएंगे उसके ऊपर, don't worry. Virtue approach. Virtues क्या है? The qualities which helps us to reach our ideals. Basically, these are society-based approaches, but this is an individual-based approach. In this approach, a person thinks only about himself. Okay, that what kind of person I am and what kind of person I will become if I take a particular decision. If that decision reduces the distance between my ideal self and my real self, it is ethical. If it increases the distance, it is unethical. Simple virtue approach. Okay, so ये different normative schools, normative ethics में all these different approaches are there, and these are the approaches that you are going to use in your case studies also. Multiple है और भी है, गांधीयन अप्रोच आ जाता है, गांधी टैलिस्मैन है, मल्टीपल अप्रोचेज आते हैं, सर्वोदया, अंत्योदया, बहुत अप्रोचेज है, राइट. सो नॉर्मेटिव ethics you have understood, and the last branch is applied ethics. In applied ethics, basically the idea is that how these principles can be applied in different situations and in different context. एक बार आपने principles दे लिया, अब apply कैसे होगा? Okay, and as all you people know that now ethics is associated with every human action, every interaction. Okay, so whether it's economics, whether it's biotechnology, whether it's environmental sciences, anything, okay, ethics are involved, and that is why the number of branches in applied ethics is increasing day by day. Okay, तो इसमें जैसे मल्टीपल अप्रोचेज है, बुकलेट्स हैं आपके पास, एक just write one line about applied ethics first. Applied ethics attempts to apply ethical theory to real life situations. Two features are necessary for an issue to be considered an applied ethical issue. Many times this problem comes that we start looking everything from the context of ethics, which is not right. Okay, like certain questions are aesthetic in nature, like what one should eat or what one should wear. These are not questions of ethics, but these are questions of aesthetics, and it is based on personal choice of a person rather than what should be decided by society or organizations. ये कभी भी नहीं होता, and whenever you will bring such questions in normative ethics, certainly it will lead to problems. Like जैसे इंडिया में हो रहा है कि beef eating का है कि you will not wear western dresses, वो गर्ल्स और वो ऑफ शोल्डर ड्रेसेस नहीं पहनेंगे, स्कर्ट्स नहीं पहनेंगे, बॉयज वो ड्रेस नहीं पहनेंगे. ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस आर नॉट एथिकल इश्यूज, दे आर एस्थेटिक इश्यूज. ओके, तो देयर इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन देम, राइट. एंड सेकेंड, इसमें एक है, ये क्या लिखा आपने पॉइंट, टू फीचर्स आर नेसेसरी फॉर एन इशू टू बी कंसिडर्ड एज अप्लाइड एथिकल इशू. द फर्स्ट इज द इशू नीड्स टू बी कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल. The issue needs to be controversial in the sense that there are significant groups of people both for and against the issue. Both for and against the issue. Okay, like shooting someone, is it an ethical issue? No, there is no debate regarding it, it's wrong. Okay, but LGBT rights, it's an ethical issue. Abortion, euthanasia, jallikattu, these are all ethical issues.
We can change those sometimes.
Like
At some later stage when we control or access on issues where there is consensus also.
हाँ, बिल्कुल yes, but I'm talking about the particular specific time. ठीक है, बाद में तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. right? And second point is it must be a distinctly moral issue. It must be a distinctly moral issue. Okay, like I've given you example of aesthetic issue. Like जैसे capitalist or socialist society है. Basically, it's an issue of economy and policy rather than an issue of ethics. Okay. Sure. Now different branches are there and there is no end to these branches. Multiple branches are there. Like a very important branch is bioethics. What do you mean by bioethics? It is also called as biomedical ethics. क्या होते हैं bioethics? UPSC hasn't asked any question on this, but it can come. The question is due for the last 2-3 years. Okay. Environmental ethics बहुत हो चुका है, so this bioethics is now becoming very important. क्या होता है bioethics?
Genetically modified system.
वो तो एग्जाम्पल हो गया. होता क्या है?
Should we modify the say for
अरे वो एग्जाम्पल का तुमने
to take care of the ethical implications of the latest biotechnological.
हाँ, yes. Basically, I mean, it studies the controversial ethics which has been raised because of the recent advances in biotechnology and medical sciences. Okay, the definition is there in your booklet. Okay, all these different issues of applied ethics have been mentioned in the booklet itself, so you have to do them from there only. Okay, so mark कर लो notes के अंदर कि वहाँ से करना है. I am just giving you a brief review. Okay, I mean these things will only introduce you to the problems, but the solutions of the problems will come later. Okay, जैसे examples दो biomedical ethics के. अरे अभी डिस्कस किए थे हम लोग. हाँ, three parents baby, yes. GM क्रॉप्स थोड़ा environmental उसमें चला जाता है. बायोलॉजिकल पेटेंट्स भी environmental इशू में ज्यादा जाता है. हाँ हाँ, वो भी कहीं ना कहीं environmental में चला है. That's a mix of environmental and biomedical. Biomedical basically that directly impact human beings, like human experimentation, clinical trials, surrogacy, stem cell therapy, human cloning. Yes, reversing aging also, yes, it can be there. Like exorcism. Exorcism क्या होता है? भूत हटाना, भूत भगाना. Okay, use of black magic. मूवी नहीं देखी एक्सॉर्सिस्ट? हाँ, देखी है ना? So exorcism, I mean the person has a right to get medical attention. Okay, so it's also an ethical issue. Euthanasia, yes, euthanasia is there, surrogacy is there, all these issues. Okay, a very important field और इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आएगा. Okay, specific field से भी आ सकता है और in general भी आ सकता है. Okay, so it is given very comprehensively in your booklet. अरे खाली नहीं है, मेडिकल साइंसेस भी बोला ना मैंने. बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, मेडिकल साइंसेस, मेडिकल फिलोसफी ऑल्सो, मल्टीपल थिंग्स आर देयर. देखो अभी कर रहे हैं, वही तो कर रहे हैं. हाँ, देखो राइट नाउ वी आर जस्ट डिस्कसिंग द क्वेश्चंस. Okay, only when I mean you people will understand these different approaches, how those approaches are used in case studies, then only you will get a clear idea. Okay, but right now I want you people to understand these different applied ethics. Okay, और वो आपको notes में से देखना है. Okay, I'm just giving you a very brief idea about all these things. तो biomedical ethics हो गया. जैसे clinical trials हो गए. Clinical trials में what are the issues? हाँ, which species to be used, informed consent, okay, beneficence, pain reduction,
Practices which are very painful should not be done.
okay, pain reduction, sharing of benefits, compensation shall be given. Okay, all these points are all mentioned in your booklet. Okay, so ये आ गया. फिर कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स हो जाता है. व्हाट इज कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स? एथिक्स इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर. कैन यू गिव मी सर्टेन एग्जांपल्स? हम अभी इन सबको डिस्कस करेंगे. कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स विल कम इन कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस. पब्लिक सेक्टर एथिक्स विल कम इन यूनिट 6. Environmental ethics are also there. Military ethics are also there in international ethics, just war theory. Okay. So corporate ethics, any example? Insiders trading is there. और बताओ.
monopoly power,
हाँ, जैसे अभी वॉलमार्ट करता है आपका. ओके, और
market manipulation,
मार्केट मैनिपुलेशन. हाँ, प्राइसिंग का भी इशू है. यस, बुक मैनिपुलेशन, सत्यम स्कैंडल था. एंटी कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रैक्टिसेस, अभी किसका कंप्लेन आया था? एक, हाँ हाँ, कार्टेल, गूगल का जो वॉर्न किया था. यस यस.
CEOs pay versus workers pay. CEOs pay.
हाँ, CEOs pays huge, I mean huge differences there. वो एक इशू हम कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस में करेंगे. हाँ, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, प्राइसिंग उनका इंक्रीज करते हैं. यस यस, सर्टनली. हाँ, वो भी एक प्राइवेट सेक्टर का ही. डेटा सिक्योरिटी. यस, डेटा सिक्योरिटी. कितने इश्यूज हैं देखो, आप लोगों को पता है, मुझे भी नहीं पता इतने इश्यूज. पॉल्यूटिंग द एनवायरनमेंट. यस. ओके, सो कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स में आते हैं सब. अभी हम करेंगे डिस्कस इनको लेटर ऑन. राइट नाउ जस्ट ब्रीफ आइडिया. ओके, देन योर मिलिट्री एथिक्स आर मेंशन्ड इन योर बुकलेट. इसमें बेसिकली जस्ट वॉर थ्योरी आता है. Okay, like what should be your action before war, during war and after war. Okay, what should be your conduct with prisoners of war? What kind of weapons should be used? Okay, disproportionate use of force like as done by Israel. Disproportionate use होता है. Okay, so उसमें military ethics में आ जाता है. Then we have public sector ethics, efficiency, economy, effectiveness, optimal utilization of resources, corruption, nepotism, favoritism. All these issues are of public sector. Okay, environmental ethics. क्या होता है environmental ethics? Favorite question of UPSC. Direct question came, what are environmental ethics? बताओ.
how much to take care of the environment, how much to balance human needs.
Basically, ethics which are involved in the interaction between human and non-human world. Huh. And what's the significance of environmental ethics in Indian society? Hmm?
Geographically, we have diverse
Hmm.
biogeographic regions.
Hmm.
We are well endowed with forests, mountains.
ट्राइबल जो सेक्रेड ग्रूव्स वगैरह आ जाते हैं आपके. हिस्ट्री से कनेक्ट करो. हमारे कल्चर में क्या एनवायरनमेंट का प्लेस है? इन आवर रिलीजन, इन आवर कल्चर. एक वो देयर इज अ सील फ्रॉम हड़प्पा सिविलाइजेशन दैट प्लांट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द वूम ऑफ अ वुमन. ओके, फ्रॉम मदर गॉडेस का वो कॉन्सेप्ट आ जाता है. ओके, देन लाइक in our culture, like every god is associated with an animal. जैसे शिव जी का वो नंदी आ गए. पीकॉक इज देयर विद सम, आई थिंक कार्तिकेय के साथ है. दैट माउस इज, रैट इज देयर विद गणेश जी. ओके, टाइगर है, माता जी के साथ है. वो डिफरेंट है सारे. तो व्हाई? बिकॉज नेचर हैज ऑलवेज बीन एन इंट्रिंसिक पार्ट ऑफ आवर कल्चर. देखो, ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स दोगे ना तो इट विल सर्टनली फेच यू गुड मार्क्स. अब श्राद्ध होते हैं. श्राद्ध इज प्रैक्टिस इज देयर. द फर्स्ट बाइट विल बी फॉर द काउ, second will be for the crow, third will be for the ants or let's say dog. Okay, we worship snakes, we worship monkeys, monkey god Lord Hanuman. Okay, people worship is there. All these things, I mean, these things shows that how environment has been intrinsically woven with our culture and religion. So try to give these examples. Okay, so environmental ethics, वो चिपको movement, all those things आप डाल सकते हैं इसके अंदर, right? So जैसे तुलसी I mean it is there in every home, ये सब डालो आप. So environmental ethics, मदर नेचर का जो कॉन्सेप्ट आता है आपका. Okay, then we have political ethics. Okay, again is an oxymoron, politics and ethics. Okay, completely opposite words now it has become. Okay, so means as well as ends, right? Then like I have given, like suppose a case study is there. Suppose you are a politician. Okay, now 70 seats are there in the assembly. Your party has won, let's say, 34 seats. You just need 2 more seats to make the government. 5 independent MLAs are there, but when you approach them, they are asking for bribe. What will you do? You are a very honest politician. The state is going through many problems which need some serious policy decisions. क्या करोगे? समझ रहे हैं? तो this is how the cases will be built. Okay, अभी आप उनको आंसर नहीं कर पाओगे. You won't be able to answer them right now, because right now we are just discussing problems, not their solutions. Okay, so political ethics are there, publication ethics are there. क्या इशू था अभी कुछ रिसेंट, कोई करंट में से, या फिर 1-2 years बैक एनी? दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी का रामेश्वरी वाला फोटोकॉपी वाला पकड़ा गया. ओके, क्या इशू है उसमें? आईपीआर वर्सेस आरटीई, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स वर्सेस राइट टू एजुकेशन, इंडिविजुअल इंटरेस्ट वर्सेस सोशल इंटरेस्ट. Okay, many conventions are there. Bern Convention 1886, Indian Copyrights Acts 1957. Basic information होना चाहिए, right? So all this data is mentioned in your booklets. Got it? फिर मीडिया एथिक्स आ जाते हैं. मीडिया एथिक्स में इश्यूज बताओ. हाँ, अब आप कह रहे थे ना, कोई ले रहा था मीडिया एथिक्स का कोई. इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ मीडिया, अभी पेड न्यूज है, जी न्यूज, सेंसेशनलाइजेशन, स्टिंग ऑपरेशंस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वन. स्टिंग ऑपरेशंस में क्या आता है, क्या इश्यूज हैं? राइट टू प्राइवेसी इज देयर, इनजस्टिस, मैनिपुलेशन. फिर उसको हम लोग कांट्स का कैटेगोरिकल इंपेरेटिव यूज कर सकते हैं उसमें. ओके, देखो अभी नहीं आएगा, कम समझ आएगा. क्रॉस ओनरशिप. Okay, yes, that can be there, huh? Media trials, yes, media trials, media verdicts. Okay, like showing violence on TV channels, dead bodies, जैसे पहले दिखाते थे, before 2008 terrorist attack, this thing was shown on TV. Okay, paid news वगैरह आप लोग बता ही चुके हैं. One-sided view is there. Politicians, they are owning these media houses. जी न्यूज, इंडिया टीवी, ये सब बिके हुए चैनल्स हैं. रिपब्लिक, यस. ओके, सो मीडिया एथिक्स. देन हाँ, किसमें मैम? बिल्कुल आएगा, क्यों नहीं आएगा? हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल 100% आएगा. ओके, देखो सब कुछ आप लोग, मैंने कहा देर इज नो एंड टू एथिक्स, देर इज नो हॉलीडे फ्रॉम एथिक्स. मल्टीपल अप्रोचेस, मल्टीपल डायमेंशंस आर देयर. ओके, सो मीडिया एथिक्स. देन लाइक विद इन मीडिया एथिक्स, पब्लिकेशन एथिक्स कैन ऑल्सो कम. प्लेजरिज्म इज देयर. होता है ना प्लेजरिज्म, कॉपीइंग करते हैं, बाय गॉटरी, कितनी सो मेनी थिंग्स आर देयर. Then एक और one more field is this sexual morality. I think sexual morality is not mentioned in your booklet also. Sexual morality. इसमें क्या आता है sexual morality में? Monogamy versus polygamy versus polyamory. अब ये polyamory का कॉन्सेप्ट भी चल रहा है. Having sexual relations with multiple partners with the consent of all involved partners. ये भी चल रहा है अभी इंडिया में, दिल्ली, बेंगलुरु, इन सब स्टेट्स में some recent studies have been consulted. Polyamory. हिंदू में भी आर्टिकल भी था इसके ऊपर. Okay, homosexual relations, extramarital affairs, sexual marital rape, sexual relations without love, ये सब sexual morality के concepts हैं. Extramarital, like अभी few years back, Ashley Madison, it's an adult हाँ डेटिंग वेबसाइट है ये. तो फ्यू इयर्स बैक सम डेटा वाज लीक्ड. हाँ तो इंडिया में बल्कि इनफैक्ट मोर वुमेन आर मेंबर्स ऑफ दिस डेटिंग साइट, क्योंकि उनको ओपनली अलाउड नहीं है. राइट. सो सेक्सुअल मोरालिटी, इंटरनेशनल एथिक्स आ जाते हैं फिर. ओके, दैट वी विल डिस्कस इन इंटरनेशनल एथिक्स. ओके, सोशल मोरालिटी का इशू आ जाता है. सोशल मोरालिटी क्या हुआ? हाँ सॉरी, हाँ इन पब्लिक प्लेसेस, इन सोसाइटी. Like in this, a very important good Samaritan laws have been associated. ये लिख लो. Being a good Samaritan. In fact, in 2016, government has come up with certain guidelines in this regard. It can be asked as a question in your paper 1 and paper 2 also. अभी 2 साल पुराना हो गया, and UPSC has this habit of picking things from the past. Okay, good Samaritans. ठीक है, Samaritans, a good citizen. जैसे like in Delhi, 2,000 rupees cash reward is given if somebody takes a road accident victim to the hospital. Okay, so like spitting, हाँ ये सब इसमें आ जाएगा. Social morality. Right. So like अभी स्पोर्ट्स एथिक्स का भी एक कॉन्सेप्ट आ रहा है. डोपिंग का है. अभी क्रिकेट में क्या हुआ? बॉल टेम्परिंग हो गई, स्टीव स्मिथ. ओके, देखो कहीं से यूपीएससी का कुछ नहीं भरोसा, कहां से क्वेश्चन पूछ ले. और ये सब क्रिकेट बहुत देखते हैं, इनको काम कम होता है, क्रिकेट ज्यादा देखते हैं. सो हाँ सॉरी, अच्छा हाँ हाँ, वो विजेंदर के साथ जो केस हुआ था. यस यस, दैट कैन बी देयर. इसमें एक केस स्टडी भी बन सकता है. ओके, यू आर गेटिंग अ चांस, सो व्हाट यू विल डू. हाँ बिल्कुल. अब वो कोहली इंजर्ड हो गया मैच के अंदर, अब वो गया था काउंटी खेलने, नहीं खेली. राइट. सो मल्टीपल इश्यूज आर देयर. So try to think about, basically this topic has been given right in the first unit so that it can open your mind towards different problems of applied ethics.
Only corporate ethics and
नहीं, corporate ethics भी है, international ethics भी है और public sector ethics भी है. Okay. हाँ बाकी सब डायमेंशन पे बिल्कुल है. और इन्हीं पर क्वेश्चन है. इन्वायरमेंटल एथिक्स पे देयर आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन, आई थिंक 2 से 3 बार पूछ चुके हैं. राइट. हाँ हाँ, वो तो हम डिस्कस करेंगे डिटेल के अंदर. ओके, बट बायो एथिक्स, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एथिक्स इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. उसके ऊपर भी एक क्वेश्चन बिल्कुल आ सकता है. लास्ट ईयर ऑल्सो आई सेड दिस थिंग टू स्टूडेंट्स, बट नहीं आया, तो इस साल और प्रोबेबिलिटी इंक्रीज हो गई है. ओके, so I think that will be enough for today.
Technology ethics, for example, upcoming AI technology.
हाँ yes yes, machine ethics, technology ethics, yes, that thing. Cyber ethics is also very important. It is mentioned in your booklet only. Okay, chalo, thank you.